Welcome to the SaaS Revolution Show, a podcast by SaaStock. Here we interview SaaS founders from around the world who've been there and done that, as they share the ins and outs of how they built their businesses, their operations, their path to securing investment, and more. Our mission with the podcast is to help you, the founder, learn how to scale your SaaS, maintain your well-being, and navigate the complexities of this ever-changing industry. I'm your host, Alex Dima, and together we'll explore the good, the bad, and the ugly in the journey to SaaS success.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate you being here. I'll jump up on the slides and I may as well get them on actually now. I've done a few of these and I'll go for a bit of an intro to myself, but I want to make them as kind of open as possible. So ask any questions, kind of get interactive, share ideas, share stories, and see where we've gone. Because over my pretty whole career, worked in small companies, startups, etc., and I've seen the kind of challenge across different sizes. I have a joking slide towards the end of dragging someone to the sea. Sometimes founders need to be dragged away to get off sales, but at points as well, Alex, you need to get your hands dirty, dig in, and actually get over the hump. So start sharing the deck. Do we want to do introductions or anything like that, or is that not the format here?
I think it's okay. We can just kind of jump into it.
Yeah, cool. Can you see the tab? Slideshow. Is it all working, all visible? Can hear and see?
Yep.
I can't hear or see anyone. So if you want to jump in, just jump in.
Yeah, we can see. We can see.
Yes, we can see you.
Perfect. Cool. So a quick overview of this, a bit of intro to myself. Anyone else wants to do the same, feel free to. I want to make it as interactive as possible so we can kind of learn and share here. What the focus for founder-led sales is, why it's important to do it, and then looking at like why sales has to be your number one priority, how you be really good at being being able to do sales as a founder, and then kind of moving out from that to building a founder-led process, and then kind of the point of letting go, when's right for yourself, how much do you let go. I see a lot of people that we work with over the years, it's at different points that they need to let go, but there are points that they need to get back in. Not every company is the same, and I work across SaaS tech, VC backed, and also kind of like organic growth businesses. So there's a few different ways in which it works. Bit about myself. Here's some companies that I've worked with or work with at the moment. I have a consultancy company myself, and a technology company. We have a few people in there, sales, marketing experts, etc. Work on a fractional basis, do coaching. I invest a little bit and do speaking slots on podcast as and when I can. My whole career has been it's been from cybersecurity, then in fintech, and then martech. Always worked for small businesses. Whenever I ended up going to larger ones, ended up kind of like leaving that and going out, because a lot of the companies I've worked for have been acquired on the journey. So that's a little bit about myself. You can check me on LinkedIn. Before we were doing this, I was quite keen to speak to Joe. Well, talking to JV, quite keen to kind of reach out to the room really, just to see what are the kind of main challenges that people are facing at the moment from founder-led sales. Are you in the founder-led sales mode at the moment? Are you just about to transition out into building your first sales or marketing function? Have you already gone and created that sales or marketing function? You're having a bit of an issue with it that you want to really kind of double down on in this session, in this time we got together.
Hey, Cameron. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I have just hired our first head of sales. Our inbound, outbound sales support and success team will be directly reporting to him. But it took almost 9 months to hire and onboard him. Yeah, that was my main challenge. Yeah, because yeah, the recruitment process took too long. He was working for another company in Turkey, and he required 4-5 months to hand off his job because there are 120 people under his responsibility. Yeah, that was my biggest challenge. I hope we made a good decision. Yeah, it was the right decision. Otherwise, yeah, I don't want to spend my next 9 to 10 months to hire a new head of sales.
And I'm guessing the time period that you've gone across on that, you spent a lot of time making sure it's the right person, checking, testing, not just kind of going off conversations and CVs.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we had a professional assessment service as well, leadership assessment service. I'm sure you know it better than me. Yeah, there were a few case studies. I also wanted to introduce him to my co-founders. Yeah, but
So your
it's
challenge at the
too
moment,
much
you brought someone in, taken a long time. That's been a bit of a challenge, but I guess the next challenge is making sure that big investment in time and money is gonna work.
Yeah, I hope so.
Cool. Anyone else with similar challenges, different challenges?
I got a different one. I'm now still in the middle of founder-led sales. I don't think I can get out of it anytime soon due to budgets, I guess. But I would like to learn what do I need to prepare right now? So as soon as I can, I guess, hire a salesperson, or when I'm ready for it, that I have all the materials, all the things ready so they can get started quickly instead of me trying to arrange everything at that time.
Yeah, perfect. Cool.
I'll go next if that's all right. So my name is Igor, and we're in business for over 10 years, and we never had founder-led sales, and we had mainly was organic or paid ads. But it's something that I would like to do. I'm not sure if I'm the right person for this as the founder, so it could be maybe another person-led sales, like not like a, I don't know, like a some, like if it does it have to be like a founder-led sales, or it could be somebody who can just mirror a founder or something. I don't know. If
So
I express
someone
myself
who's as a co-founder, or are you saying, or
it's like I don't know, just having somebody in the leadership role, someone new in the leadership role that would have like a strong media presence. It could be like you know, almost like an influencer kind of type of person, if that's an option. I don't know, just thinking.
yeah, got to find the right person for this next stage.
Thanks.
Cool. Any more? No, cool. All right. So
Yeah,
just
hi.
look.
Sorry, I'm driving. Can you see me? Hey,
Yeah, I can see you now.
everybody. So I'm still doing sales at the moment and working towards product market fit, and we've got a couple of pilots. So we're quite early, but I've got a two salespeople who want to be onboarded, and I want to know whether that's a good idea or a bad idea for them to help me figure out the formula, or I should just focus on my own until I'm good to go. They want to work on commission only. And they really believe in the product. So yeah, that's a question I have.
Yeah, cool. So a bit of an array there, right? So someone who's come in as a head of sales, already got people in the sales team, still doing founder-led sales, wanting to kind of empower yourself to be strong within founder-led sales. Been going for quite some time, very marketing-led, considering whether it's a sales-led motion or maybe a marketing-led motion, or a leader to come in to run that. And then Oren was saying, early stage, got some comms only people, and trying to figure out how that would work.
Maybe if I can just add something. For me, the biggest challenge is to say no to potential customer. Basically, being the founder and also being a product guy, sometimes they're just asking for new features, new small things to improve. And so it's, well, I would say if it was an external sell, it wouldn't say no and just close the deal. But having this product at, sometimes I'm just saying, oh, okay, let's do this. And in the end, I'm sure that it's counterproductive. So if you can help us in this, would be great.
So on that one, are you saying that, so you as your kind of technical background, if you were more product orientated, but you also do sales as well. So trying to find the balance of how to sell most efficiently and products to add in at one point, I guess.
Yeah, because most of the time I'm just saying, hey, okay, I can just add this feature or add this thing. And in the end, sometimes it takes a few days. I can lose momentum also. And if I was just a sales guy, I would say, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that, or maybe later, and just close the deal now.
Yeah. Well, a lot of companies I work with, it's, you've got to kind of sell the dream. Like a lot of early stage companies, you're selling the product now and in the future. A lot of people are buying into the future, and you're obviously paying for early rates. So it's just finding that point of what is acceptable for someone to purchase, and then how much can you get them to give you based around the roadmap, or they pay closer to that, or can you put a bit of a multi-year plan in place where over the years the price moves closer to what the product value will be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I normally look at founder-led sales, and it's a bit of a silly thing, but kind of simplifying it, I'd say founder-led sales, like you are always, and I always say any company will go into, whether it's a VC backed or an organic one, if it's very, very early stage and they don't have a sales team, like one or two, they are naturally always going to be the best person to talk about the product. They're passionate about it. It's a baby. You've invested all your time, money, effort. You've either built the product or been very close to building the product. You know the market, you know the business inside out, and a lot of time in that kind of early stage, people buying from you and what you believe in and what you've put together so far. I always think it's some founders I speak to, a lot of the technical ones, and I just can't sell. It's like, well, talk me through the product. Just go through the process of what sales looks like. You don't have to be the best salesperson. You don't have to be 100%. But if you can get 70, 80% there, or even less, just so you're doing the kind of the basics, then you can become the best founder you can be, to be able to sell it as well as you can. Then when we kind of like look into the transition, it's a bit of a different job really. I normally go along like why now is sales like most important. I know not every company will want to run a sales led motion straight away. You may want marketing led first and then sales later on, or you put two together and kind of back them up. Working with someone at the moment where we're in there as doing some CMO work and some CRO work jointly to help move the business along, build the top of funnel, and launch new products into new markets. So sales is a bit of a dirty word over the years, but it's important. It's a priority. Like getting investment's tough at the moment. The more revenue you have, the easier it is to then convince someone to invest in your product, especially if it's the earlier stage one. And obviously, the more revenue you have, it will help you find out who your ICP is. It'll help you then build out what product market fit really looks like. And you just need to really align your sales activities to make sure that, you're moving in that right direction, if you will. I've got the rest is quite interactive, but I'll just go through this bit at the moment. So I always think like starting in founder-led sales, as I said, understand the product. You're communicating the product. You're finding product market fit. Like it's gonna take you some time to get it. Even some post Series C, D sort of companies I've worked in, they're still trying to find what that product market fit really is. I always think it's quite important, especially as a founder, if you're wanting to build a sales function, a salesperson and a sales function or sales manager, if you will, are two completely different people. So as a founder, being able to sell is important, but I think having a lot of the processes, a lot of the structure in the background to make sure that you are being successful is super important. Because you don't, I guess the people that come to us, they're just a little bit nervous. They've either hired someone and they're just worried that that person's not going to do all the things they want to do, and actually they need some help to kind of bolster that up, or they're just a little bit nervous about hiring those first people because they don't know what it looks like. They've not been in sales, they've not managed salespeople, they don't really know what they're looking for. It's a bit of a big gamble. So I think hiring your first salesperson, knowing you're ready to hire the first salesperson is super important. Maybe it comes from my accountancy days. I think you just need to have a little bit of thought behind it, a bit of a plan. It doesn't have to be overkill, but just something that gives you a bit of a strategy to kind of move from founder-led to sales-led. I guess maybe before we kind of go into sales-led, is it worth maybe going through these questions? This is stuff that I've done for accelerators, incubators, and that before, so hopefully it will fit within this audience as well. That out of people here, does anyone want to kind of go through what the business does? Are they product market fit? Do they have any repeatable processes? And if you're looking to hire a sales team, do you feel you're ready? And if not, what are your kind of biggest concerns?
Okay, yeah, I think I can jump in.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm from User Guiding. It's a product adoption platform. We help other B2B SaaS companies to improve their product adoption rates and empower their customer self-service experience. Yeah, do we have a product market fit? I think so. We are around $3 million in ARR. We have 900 clients. 70% of them are B2B SaaS. Yeah, we have some repeatable processes, and the inbound marketing is the biggest acquisition channel for us. 80% of our revenue is coming from inbound marketing. We use HubSpot and Intercom to onboard our new customers as a customer support and chat function. We also use our own product to accelerate the aha moment and give the user guidings value proposition to our clients in a shorter time. We have 3 account executives right now and 2 SDRs, sales development representative right now in our sales team. We have 2 people in success and 3 people in support. And as I already mentioned, we hired our first head of sales. These 12, 13 people are reporting to him right now.
And I guess on that, have you put a lot of the playbooks, the processes, that you've got some technologies in place that it looks like, have you been putting that together yourself? And is it just then for him to hand over and then he or she, whoever the head of sales is?
Actually, I was the guy who overseeing the demo flow, sign up flow, and honestly, I cannot say I'm doing it great because in the first 4 weeks of him, he started to make some warm calls to our all high quality sign up, product qualified signups. And he's doing he has a good start. He's a better start than me. Yeah, the current challenges, we have 3 account executives, and yeah, we have 18, 16, yeah, 16 to 18. The most is 20 new product demos every week, and yeah, it is not enough to fill our 3 account executives pipeline. And yeah, yeah, with an empty pipeline, account executives are not performing well. Whenever we satisfy their pipeline, whenever we fill their pipeline fully, the conversion rates and the average revenue per users, ACVs, are increasing. Yeah, our biggest challenge is that how to fill. We have to get at least 30 demos. It means, yeah, we need to increase 60%, 70%, sometimes almost 50% increase in our existing demo numbers. Yeah, that's why we are struggling nowadays.
So it's more kind of the demo numbers that you're looking to improve versus the conversion rates for the SDR team and through to the AEs, etc. So maybe it's not training enablement and making sure that they're using the right qualification, the right process. You feel like it's more of actually getting the volume in from opportunities. And
yes, actually, we can.
Much outbound, or is it fully inbound orientated?
It's almost fully inbound. We have only 3-4 demos every week from outbound. The rest, let's say 18 demos a week on average. Yeah, 14 coming from inbound. Only 4 of them coming from outbound.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we start to have some warm call to our existing signups who had some key activities to ask 15, 30, 20 minutes discovery call to increase our number of demos.
Fair enough. So maybe it's kind of similar. It's not saying every company's the same, but I did some work with a company called Funnel and Stripe a little while back. They just didn't really have any outbound, and they're very focused on inbound. You kind of hit a little bit of a ceiling when you're pushing ads and the full inbound motion. A lot of companies then push towards building out some more outbound based teams to then build up that list. So you're reaching the amount of demos that you need to be done, but then there's also the kind of the premise of inbound led outbound, right? Like making sure that the two are working together. So we find quite a lot the people bring in like head of sales and head of marketing, they'll potentially kind of going different directions. So I was working with Yuso at Funnel, the VP of marketing, and we did this whole kind of like pitch to the business that if one part of the business is going, marketing are off on this tangent, sales are off on a slightly different one, even if you're a few percent apart based around like what you're trying to achieve, you can be like 20-30% out of profit, like lower profit in comparison to what you would have achieved before. So it sounds like you've got someone on who's a leader who can take that team and move it forward. I would assume that they'd have an outbound focus, or at least kind of mix inbound and outbound together to make sure you've got that. And then probably whoever's running the marketing function, making sure that everyone's aligned on that. When we were bringing together the sales and marketing function, we effectively built, and this is, some people on here may be aware of Pavilion and a few of the other places, but and Jacko's Winning by Design and stuff. But the whole kind of focus was bringing, when you've got a salesperson, a market person, making sure that they're aligned to one thing, making sure they're aligned to revenue, and making sure everyone is pushing to move those demos up no matter what they've got to do.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know if that's any help or not, but I'm just a bit of sharing experience.
Yeah. It works. Thank you.
It sounds like you've got a lot in place. You just need to make sure that when you're drilling into, I'm assuming you've got a lot on HubSpot and other tools that you can make real data-driven decisions, right? So it's just testing, see what works, move quickly.
And honestly, nowadays we are planning to have a setup on HubSpot only. Right now, we are using Intercom and HubSpot, sending some onboarding emails. But yeah, we are also competing with Intercom in product adoption category. Yeah, most probably, yeah, in a few months, yeah, we will be out of Intercom totally. It's also a little bit difficult to send some data from Intercom to HubSpot and vice versa. I think, yeah, that will be more, that will be easier for us to manage the whole sign-up process without losing any signals.
Yeah, makes sense. It's a bit of a journey going from one to the other. I'm sorry, I could spend forever talking about that, but
Okay.
But hopefully that will kind of add a little bit of value. Hopefully you can bring that in. I kind of going back, you know, if you've got the processes, you've got a solid team in place, it's about just monitoring that person, empowering the team, making sure sales and marketing are aligned, and making sure that your tools and data are working for you to make sure you can quickly spot when something's not working, iterate and then try something new. For others in here who are a little bit kind of earlier stage, well, what's the kind of like main worries around moving from founder-led sales to sales-led?
If you're asking early stage, then I will answer, I guess. I mean, where is money? So I guess like, okay, I mean, if you can afford them, right? Like how long does it take for them to ramp up and actually earn their salary back, for example? And of course, then hit quota and earn more money than they're costing. And like, what do you actually need to have in place? So that third question, repeatable processes, like what is the minimum, I guess, you need to have in place for them to make sure that they can actually do their work, right? So how many, the thing Osman had, like you need to fill up their calendar. You need to make sure that they have all the resources available to actually do their work. So I guess those are the challenges, like when is the right time?
Yeah, I've also kind of seen like when is the right time financially, but when is the right time also as a business owner. I've been reading a book which is kind of very much focused around the moving from a kind of a technician role into an entrepreneurial role, and actually then being comfortable to bring someone else in to do that next part. Everyone's obviously entrepreneurs here, so that's not going to be a massive problem, but I do sometimes see that early stage of when is the right time to do it. Should we wait? Do we need some more money? I think from like repeatable processes and to be able to set up the sales engine, if you will, there's so much free resource out there that you can bring together and put the basics in place, and then you can just test a few different options. Like with the money that you have, you could just go for comms only. You can go for part-time people. You can go for interns if you think you've got the time to support. It's just about doing something, I think. And actually having it in your plan, on your roadmap. Okay, within the next X amount of months, we're gonna hire our first salesperson, and it doesn't have to be a full-time thing, right? There's so many people out there nowadays that do multiple jobs. It's when it's right for you. Obviously, you've got a mass amount of investment; it makes it a lot easier. But if you don't, you've got to really kind of like map back. I think do a bit of backcasting around like where do you want to go, when do you want to bring that person in, and just finding the basic tools to help you move forward. A lot of the CRMs and tech tools out there at the moment, they come with a lot of information around what to do and how to do things. Just make sure you buy the right thing and don't just go nuts. I was speaking to some founders in NatWest. Some of the guys quite early stage, they did have a couple of salespeople, but they were just running things on Excel. The move to a CRM and the rest is, you know, everyone says you need to move to it, you need to go to this, but actually for that business, it worked quite well for them, and they were managing everything on there. They then later down the line would have invested in those tools when they had enough money to do so.
Yeah.
If they're helping out. So let me go back into the slides. So from here, what I tend to kind of talk about when we're talking about building the sales process is like the main components of sales process, right? Obviously lead generation, that's the main part. A lot of people don't have the time to do it, don't want to do it. It's time consuming, especially if you're doing outbound. Obviously, inbound you can automate and set up, and there's a whole bunch of tools out there that you can use, but that's a moving target as well. There's always new things to do, new ways to bring people in. I think a lot of people are doing podcasts and doing more kind of creative engagements with their end customers to make sure that they come into that top of the funnel. But whatever lead generation strategy you have in place, just making sure that you have the right understanding of who's going through, even down to the basics of what does a lead actually mean, when does it transition to an opportunity, how do I make sure that as that goes through as it goes through the funnel, am I doing the right things at the right time? You don't have to overcomplicate it, but just putting the basics in place. Outreach, opportunity creation, it's very similar to what I just mentioned. Obviously managing pipeline, whether it's a CRM or if you just use Excel, there's a whole bunch of tools out there that can help you take opportunities from top of funnel all the way through. Sometimes I find like the biggest amount of focus for companies is actually that kind of closing, negotiating the deal, how to do it properly, depending on the different types of people you're working with, how to engage with those. Do you have the right structure in place, and do you have someone kind of holding you accountable? A lot of what we do, we just effectively an outsourced sales manager to founders, where we just, are you doing this? Why have you not done this? Should you not have done that? Just having something in place that means that the deals that you are closing as a founder are actually closing effectively. And there's a lot of accountability groups. I don't know if Alex, you have something within this community where other people can help each other or how to hold each other accountable, but even down to the basics of that, everyone wants to move their businesses forward. So if sales is a super important thing for you, making sure you're doing it right, use the power of the community you've got, and anyone else out there who's an advisor and mentors that can then help you that process. I always say, like, the most important thing is knowing your customer journey, right? So not all of the companies that I've worked with really know what their customer journey looks like and where they need to be spending their time and who touches what as you go through that customer journey. Like, I've been on panels and conversations where people are talking, I'm from the cyber world, so you'll have people talking about, like, this is how you market to people, this is how you sell to people, and you've got the CISOs, you've got the buyers in the room, and it's actually like, well, what's more important to you? When do we engage with you? Who engages? Who does what? And I find kind of 9 times out of 10, most people don't really map that out. And even kind of companies that are more progressed than that, when I was working with the guys at Funnel in Sweden, they put a massive kind of, not a mural, but massive paper kind of design of the customer journey as they go through it, what it looks like, who's involved, and just kind of make it visual and impactful. So you understand how your customer is engaging with you, what they like, what they don't like, how you can grab their attention, and once they're in, like, how do you turn them into like advocates and champions? I think obviously the HubSpot flywheel mentality there is very much focused on not just bringing them in as a customer, but how do you then make them stay to make sure you have some strong LTV, and then how do you get them to love your products so much that they're invest in your next raise, or telling other people that you need to be bringing them, that they need to be using your tool. So it's a point of reference. So I always say a very, very simple thing to do is to then just visually map out your customer's journey. If you're just an individual founder, go through that. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people out there who can help take you through that journey, what it looks like, but just map out where you think what you need to do at each stage, who needs to be involved if you've got a bigger team, making sure that when your customers go through your buying journey or engagement journey, that they're actually touching those points and the right people are being involved. It's not a time consuming task, but it just helps you visualize and understand who your customer is a little bit more and where they need help sometimes. Like, how do you move them through the funnel? How do you move them through that journey? Because sometimes they get stuck and they need a bit of help, whether it's a human that helps them or whether it's more of a product-led model and you just send out training or reminders, notifications. I always think doing something like this is super important. Has anyone mapped theirs out? Is it something that people have done before? Has it been helpful? I'm obviously quite curious to see if anyone has done this really.
Yeah, we did the R funnel, so that was been helpful. And now we're looking into making this a bit more even, I guess, like how do you say it, with multiple people. So I guess like you have your ICP, right? So B2B SaaS, but are they really fitting our ICP? And then what are the different journeys they go through? So based on, I guess, on if they, for example, use a competitor, if they don't have anything yet, then we kind of map things out differently. But really early stage, like we haven't really started that. So at the moment, we pure have the R model.
Mm-hmm. But you're doing something about it, right? And you're putting that in. And as you start understanding your customer journey, then when you're looking to bring people on later down the line, it will be easy for them to really understand who that customer is, what that journey looks like, you know, where you can get engaged, what works, what doesn't work. Because I think sometimes I've seen companies where people come in and just, we've hired a salesperson, they're going to be great, they're going to change everything, they know exactly what's going on, but sometimes maybe they're just not empowered enough to make sure that they're going to be successful because maybe they just don't have the information that's inside of the founder's head. A lot of the times I'm working with people that the founders have got everything there. It's just sometimes just getting it on paper and then communicating it to others to make it easier for them to repeat the process.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we use one Miro board with like everything related to our ICP. So if like we use a marketing agency which writes our blog content, so they have access to it. So I guess everything I have in my head, I try to put it out on that board so they can always check things.
Yeah, makes sense. Big conscious of the time. We got until 5, Alex.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Cool. Going back into the kind of early stage process for sales, especially like it may not be really relevant for this group. This is more kind of early stage accelerators, incubators, but always think these are the best ways to start engaging with customers and getting opportunities in. Your clients are probably, you know, who's better to sell your product than someone who's actually bought it before. You know, they've invested time, money, effort into it. How do you make that grow? Partner model doesn't work for everyone, but a lot of businesses does in the cyber world, especially for tech. First couple of years, it's direct, and then as soon as you can switch to the partner model, that seems to work quite well. Obviously, events and marketing come at are the next stage, but these are the easiest ones to start working on in your business. Maybe this is just basic stuff, sales methodology. Everyone clued up with that, they know what that is, they've got that in place. It's not really anything we need to dive into. Or maybe a question to the group, like what methodologies are you using, what works for you? Is it something you can then move on to be repeated by someone else?
Cameron, maybe we can get more details about value-based selling. I think it is so popular nowadays. Everybody talks, but only a few people knows what really is that.
Okay. So I focus more on spin, medic, medpick myself from what we do. So yeah, I don't really have that down to T. It's not my kind of area of expertise, if you will, but it's just it's a methodology to use. So are you using value-based selling at the moment, or is it something that you're considering?
No, we are aiming to do that, but honestly, we couldn't start to do that.
Can you just tell us in this different methodology, I would say, which apply to low contract value to enterprise contract, because I get that it's not the same methodologies that you will use based on the different size of the contract.
Yeah. So the kind of go-to I tend to use, I mean, everyone uses their own thing, but for more kind of enterprise stuff, it's more Medic. I tend to use that. I'm working with a company at the moment, building out their enterprise sales team. Enterprise engagements are more complex. You need more. You need to ask more questions. You need to make sure that you're as involved with every single person you need to be to make sure that deal's moving through that process. So I tend to go with that. I'd love to hear if anyone else has used something else that's more successful, but that seems to be the go-to that I've used in my career, mainly because it asks the questions around who's in legal, where's the paperwork, who's signing off, have you got a relationship with that person? You know, you look at all the different people involved in that purchase, either the champion, the user, the person who's signing it off, decision maker, etc., who holds the purse strings, like making sure that you have conversations with all those. But when you look at low touch, my kind of personal bit, and it's a bit boring, it's a bit old, it probably shows a bit of my age, is I just use something very, very simple as BANT, like the basic stuff. It may not be aligned to here. I mean, Champ is worked quite well a while back, and then with Funnel, but then we moved to Winning by Design's one, which I've completely forgotten the name of.
I was just about to jump in. So I used to be the MD for Winning by Design a few years ago for the UK, and they use the Spiced framework. If you look on YouTube at Winning by Design Spiced or qualification framework, I've used all of the above, and I would say Spice works all the way through your customer life cycle values, customer contract values, from the lower end all the way to the higher end. But at the higher end, you can infuse a bit more of provocative selling, which is the challenger sale. So that's educating your customers on the problem that they don't really know they've got, or they're a little bit aware they've got, but you're really going in with that problem and challenging them and asking really good questions first. Spiced I prefer over something like BANT, because BANT, if you train other salespeople on BANT, especially if you're not getting a super experienced salesperson, they might be coming in sounding like a bit of a sales robot, like what's your budget, what's your timeline, etc. Whereas Spiced is situation, pain, impact, critical event, which is kind of a little bit different to like timeline. So yeah, and then decision criteria. I'm sorry, Cameron, I didn't mean to overtake.
I know, I knew you were on here, so I was happy for you to get involved, because I know all the stuff that the guys do there and what you're doing. So thank you for jumping in on that part. Mine just comes from my experience from the cyber world. We've used BANT, and that it's very boring, very simple, and as you say, it can become robotic. But actually, if you can let people know that these methodologies are just ways for you to kind of engage with the customer a bit more by being curious, like asking straight up what your budget is and are you the right person to sign this off, can actually be a little bit rude, but it's the basics to start with. And yeah, all of the Winning by Design stuff I love and I use and I repeat quite a bit. So I mean, you can use all the ones above, or I've worked with some companies where you can just create your own. Obviously, there's a lot of tools out there you can use to do that. I work with a company that they're a recruitment company, and they basically utilized one of the methodologies and then kind of reworded it to recruitment. It was a bit like Spice, a bit like Champ, kind of, but they changed it to suit them and suit their business. I think at the end of the day, it's just making sure that you're asking the right questions to the right people, and you're kind of like digging in as much as you need to for your business. So I mean, you can go up and make your own if you like. We just, for a playful bit, we kind of made our own here, making sure that you're engaging with the customers at the right time and making sure that methodology works for you. So there's a whole bunch out there, and people are always bringing up new things. So I think the main kind of point there is find one that works yourself, or try and align the one that works best for you to your business and you as a person who understands it. Because at the end of the day, this methodology is just checkpoints that you need to make sure have been asked, so that the people that you're dealing with are dealt with in the right space, time, you're asking the right questions, and you're moving them forward through the pipeline. And if you're a sales manager, or if you're a founder and you're bringing on a sales manager, you need to know that they are taking people through this process, they are comfortable with doing this, that they are moving that funnel, and they do have that structure behind them, not just going out selling and hoping for the best. I don't think you get that any days, but maybe back in the day they did. But yeah, main point is make sure you find something that works for you, and then make sure you understand what that looks like, so that when you have someone who's in from a leadership perspective, that you know that they're doing all the right things they need to be doing, so you can be comfortable that they're the right person for the job effectively. This is maybe from some experience I had a few months ago, but about a year or so ago. But when you're looking from going to from founder-led sales into a sales-led motion, it's supposed to be like, okay, it's great. Like, I'm the founder, I've built it up, I've built on that, enough interest in the business, I've done all the selling, I just don't have any time to do it anymore. I need someone else to come in to sell, and it's going to be this perfect world. Sometimes it's not, for a few different reasons, and some of them can be that point of when to kind of let go, and each business is different. But I think the kind of the main thing that I've seen over the years is when it gets to the point that you've been involved is actually becoming detrimental to that function, it's kind of obviously time to move on. You'd obviously want to move on before that. But it depends on each person and each company, because you'll get some founders, similar to yourself, Alex, you need to get involved and be hands-on in certain points. But you're paying for people to come in. It's about empowering those people and making sure that they are, they're the experts in that function. They should be the ones kind of leading that. You should just really be doing more of a light touch, making sure they're adhering to best practice, and just making sure that you're kind of checking in with them in your kind of SLT meetings, to ensure that they are delivering what you need to deliver. And again, there's a whole bunch of material out there that you could use, or people you can ask just to have a quick check. I've got this guy, he's doing this, what do you reckon? Let me know. Where I spend a lot of the time, maybe kind of like go over this a little bit, is that this is a kind of commercial strategy that you work with people. I think when you're building out a sales function or marketing function, whatever, I think you need to look across all different parts, make sure you've got the right information in, make sure your go-to-market's in place, make sure there's a solid plan, because I've seen companies, and even by myself, to be honest, at points you just don't have a plan in place, don't have a real strategy, just going with it. There's a loose one, but we don't really have anything to put a line in the sand or hold ourselves accountable for. So having something that's on paper that you can be held accountable for, and then you can look at how you move through that process, I think is very important. That's the main part on here. The kind of final tips I tend to say is, to master the sales-led motion. Like, you don't have to be perfect, but learning it, going through things, doing some courses, there's a lot of material out there you can go and consume. Talk to people about what best practice is, how they can do that for your business. A lot of that as well with all these communities then helps you have an idea of what works for you, what methodology works, what process works, what people work, and actually potentially reduce that recruitment process by bringing people in, by getting to know people beforehand. Quite a lot of people I've worked with have gone into companies by being a part of a community, engaging in that community, being seen as someone who understands that role, and then they move into a position. Clear process, clear like the winning by design stuff. I don't work for them. I never have. I've just gone through their thing, and I think it's great. There's a lot of free material that they offer out there. So kind of find what works for yourself. Once you've kind of done that, make sure you can facilitate what your customers' needs are as stakeholders. I always think building a bit of a customer advisory board is quite useful. Like, they don't have to have shares, but people that you can just ping ideas off, ask for. Obviously, this community is probably one of those places you can do that. See where people have gone wrong, where people have worked well, and just having people to help you on that journey. Utilize tools. Sorry, there was a personal plug in there on that last bit, so ignore that. Whenever I go into companies, I normally look at people, process, and technology. So doing a bit of a review and an audit of where you're at for now, and is it working for you? And if you're looking to move, grow the company, what does that look like later down the line? And do you have the right things in place now, or do you need to, in 6 months' time, implement something? Because when you put technologies in place, a lot of process will have to change or be aligned to those technologies as well. So making sure that you have that clear visual, engagement or kind of like operating model for the sales function. And then, become customer centric and data driven. I think they're the most important parts. The closer you are to your customer, the more data you have on them, the more successful you're going to be, whether it's founder led or sales led. I think when you're going into sales led and you're effectively becoming the sales manager or the CRO, etc., like, you're going to need to understand what people are bringing you and making sure you can make decisions on that. Like, we had an instant when I was working on a company, and marketing team were bringing all their KPIs, sales team bring theirs, CS were bringing the rest, sales development the rest, and it all become very kind of like self-focused, right? And the data was a nightmare. We had to use HubSpot and then Looker to kind of bring the right things in. Then actually going back and saying, well, what's the most important KPI? Okay, revenue. What does that look like? Okay, let's all work backwards from that. And then when we come to these meetings, make sure we have the right data versus the data that looks good for that function. Because as you grow, you'll get that people are there to do their jobs well, to run their function the best way they can. Sometimes forgetting actually what are sales doing, what are customer success doing. I always see that kind of knocking heads of sales and marketing leaders. I think making sure that everyone's aligned to the customer and people have got the right data to back it up, and you're just having that open conversation from both departments, or whoever's involved in that function or whoever's doing that role, definitely helps. Hopefully there's some sort of value in there, even if it is just pointing to the winning by design stuff. And thank you, Anna, for kind of going into that a little bit more detail.
Yeah, no, I think that's been great. Thank you very much, Cameron. I guess, I mean, we've got 2 minutes. I don't know if any final questions or before we depart on any of that. We'll take it as a no, but I think, yeah, been very useful. Obviously, thanks everyone for attending. Let's thank Cameron for running a great session. We'll obviously get feedback post this, but very informative, and like I say, even on my side, having been in business for 9 years, there's still like so much of this that we just don't do, and it's certainly personally been quite eye-opening as well. But thank you so much, Cameron, and
thank you, Cameron.
Yeah,
thank you. Really appreciate it. And as I said,
Thank
Alex,
you.
this is kind of early stage for myself. I've not done thousands and hundreds of these. I'm getting off and going forward with this. So if anyone has any feedback, any improvements, anything that they were hoping to get out of it that they didn't, I'd love to know what that is, so I can, one, rectify that, but then also improve this for the next group of people I share it with.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Yeah, really appreciate your time, and it means a lot. So thank you so much, Cameron. All right.
Thank you. Take
Cheers,
care,
everyone.
Good evening.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the SaaS Revolution Show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you learned something from it, check out SaaStock.com/events to find all the upcoming SaaStock conferences around the world.
Want exclusive SaaS content and actionable insights to grow your SaaS? Join our community of over 36,000 SaaS founders at SaaStock.com.